Hi friends, it's me Nikki here to share with you what I ate this week. My apologies for being a few days late with this video, but it has really been kind of busy in my world. If you're on my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you're kind of aware of some of the things that are going on in my personal life. If you're not a part of that, I would love for you to join me on those platforms, so let's jump right in. So Monday for breakfast, I had actually donuts from the Chinese takeout. We had Chinese takeout the night before, and these were some leftover donuts. I grabbed them with my coffee. You will see that it was a crazy week, and I have done my overdose of carbs, but it was just really good to have a cup of coffee and some donuts. Now for lunch on Monday, what I had was some split pea soup, and this was store-bought. It wasn't anything that I made homemade. And then I had a turkey and cheese croissant, and it was really good. Again, of course, having more of that bread. And I've had my ice water with that. And I also had some ice water for breakfast. I didn't show that. Now for dinner, I made roasted sweet potatoes, broccoli, and some salmon. So Tuesday for breakfast, I made some breakfast taquitos, however you pronounce them. And they're a nice way to have a warm breakfast and quick and easy. I also made my banana and spinach smoothie, which you guys know I love. And to make those taquitos, you put a little bit of olive oil in your skillet. I take 2 eggs, a little salt, a little pepper, and basically I'm going to scramble these eggs. But you don't want to scramble them till they're fully cooked because you're going to be baking this in the oven. So I just kind of scramble it for under a minute, and then I put it to the side. I then take a little bit of spinach that I sauteed, some shredded cheese, along with some tomatoes, but you can use whatever you want. You can use sausage, but if you use sausage, be sure to cook it ahead of time. Cook it before you put everything together. You then add your eggs in there, and you want to mix everything together. I then take my tortillas and put them in the microwave for about 30 seconds to make them, easy to work with. I put them on my baking sheet. You also at this time want to make sure to preheat your oven to 425 to get that ready. You put the mixture in the center and roll up, and then you want to put the seam face down on your baking sheet. And then from that point, what I do is I take a little bit of cooking spray and I spray the top of it. I put it in my preheated oven, cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep watch on it and you're good to go. This is really a great hot breakfast. Love it. Now Tuesday for lunch, I didn't have lunch. It was just a crazy running around day, and before I knew it, it was time to come home and cook dinner, and unfortunately I do that way too often. And for dinner, I made this simple kind of bacon pasta salad that my husband and I love. It was just really so good, easy to make. You just simply take your pasta, you boil it al dente, then you take some turkey bacon and you bake it in your oven till that's cooked, and then you chop it up. You also chop up like a tomato and an onion and a little bit of lettuce, and just so simple, really quick and easy to do. You can even prep this ahead of time. I add a little salt, pepper, but you can add whatever seasoning you prefer. You give it a nice little toss just to get everything mixed together. Then from that point, you're just going to rinse your pasta once it's ready. I use cold water. You then want to toss it into your serving bowl, whatever you're going to serve it in. I then in a separate bowl put 1 cup of Italian dressing along with a half a cup of creamy ranch dressing, and then you just mix that well together. And then from that point, what you're going to do is once it's well mixed, you're going to add that to your pasta, and you want to give it a nice toss so that all of the pasta is coated with your mixture. And I'll put this actual recipe, I'll put it on Instagram or Facebook so that you have the actual measurements of everything. And then you take the other mixture and you kind of just dump it in there, give it a nice little toss. You can put it in the refrigerator and let it chill, but we just went ahead, it was dinner time, so we went ahead and ate it with a little bit of French bread. Of course, you guys, I've been overdosing on bread this week. It's just one of those weeks. And so it just really makes for a nice hearty meal, and that's all you need. It's really filling. So for breakfast on Wednesday, I made some homemade raspberry muffins. I love making muffins, you all know that, with some Greek yogurt, and I had a little bit of granola on top. And it's just all about the carbs this week, you guys. I have been just on that binge, and so bear with me this week, but it has been overdosing on it. But it really was good. These turned out great. I love this recipe. I'll share it with you also. I also love to have my coffee when I have my muffins. And for lunch, I just simply had a little bit of that leftover pasta salad with some crackers. And I also had my ice water in my mason jar, which you guys know I love. So my husband had school, so I simply just made a croissant BLT using the turkey bacon, lettuce, and a little bit of cheese. Had my ice water, very good. Now for Thursday for breakfast, I made this avocado egg mixture here, and I'll share this recipe on my Facebook. I actually have do a video recipe. I'm going to start doing a lot more video recipes on Facebook, so definitely join me over there. And I made this smoothie that if you're on my Instagram, you know I absolutely loved. It is so delicious. This is the first time I made that, and it's so simple. You just take a little bit of ice, a little bit of water, a handful of frozen raspberries, 1 cup of key lime pie yogurt, and then I top with more raspberries. And then I picked up this Simply Limeade. I wanted to use that in this smoothie when I tried it, and oh my gosh, it really makes it good. So I just drizzled that on top of everything, put it in my blender, and this was just such a huge treat for the morning. I also had it with my mason jar of ice water, but definitely try this smoothie. This is my all-time favorite now so far. So Thursday for lunch, if you remember me sharing this on Instagram also, I made my Veggie Pinwheels. Great way to switch it up. If you, like me, you have salads a lot. You might not notice this week, but I do eat a lot of salads typically, and I get bored of it. And so I had some pineapples, and I made these little pinwheels that take all of 5 minutes to make, along with my ice water. I simply take my spinach tortilla. You can use regular if you want, whatever you prefer. I then just kind of take some cabbage, a little bit of baby spinach. I take a little bit of bell pepper, chop it up. You can use whatever your preferred vegetable is. I then take some whipped Philadelphia cream cheese, but you can use ranch dressing, whatever your preference is. You can use light or whatever you love. You then just add that in with a little bit of, I use a ranch dip, but you could use ranch dressing, and blend it in. You just want to give it a great little bit of flavor there. So you can do equal parts, maybe a little more cream cheese than the actual ranch dip. I then put it on the tortilla, but I kind of spread it. But when I spread it, I leave about 1 inch around the entire edges. You don't want to go all the way to the edge because that kind of messes you up when you go to roll it up. And then from that point, you're simply going to add your veggies onto your little tortilla here. Tortilla, I can't really say it correctly, but you just add it there and you line it up. So you want to do it in lines, and then you're simply going to roll it up. And then once you have it rolled up, you want to have it face down, your seam actually face down. It just makes things a lot easier. And then from that point, that's it, you guys. You are ready to cut it. And I cut it in about 1, maybe 1.5 inch kind of, portions, depending on what you prefer. I think 1 inch portions are probably the best. And they're just beautiful. They're delicious. The cabbage gives it a nice little crunch. So I would encourage the cabbage. But you can make them ahead of time, put them in the refrigerator, have them for lunch the next day. So it's something you definitely can prepare for, and it takes no time to do. So sometimes I make them, keep them in the refrigerator, and they're good to go. And for dinner, I made shrimp enchiladas. Again, this is a recipe that I will be sharing in a video form on my Facebook page, At Home with Nikki. Definitely go over there because I will, like I said, be sharing a lot more quick recipes on that platform. And then for breakfast on Friday, I had to finish off those croissants, so of course I had to finish up my week with some more carbs and some cream cheese and raspberry jelly. And then I made this coffee style kind of smoothie. Again, I'll share this recipe in a video form on Facebook this coming week, so definitely check that out also if you're interested. Wasn't so crazy about this one, but I'm still going to share it. I hope you all have enjoyed seeing what I ate last week. I thank you for your patience as it took me a day or two later to get this out. I hope you all are doing great. I'll see you at the next video, and this is Nikki saying goodbye.